What is up? Welcome to the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan. I am Luke Gilfillan from the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan, and today you could probably see by now that we have a really cool setup going on. Um, Over here. Oh wait, you guys can't see. Well, you guys can see this thing, okay? Over here. Oh, over here. We've got my article reading. I hope there's no like embarrassing bookmarks or anything. I probably should have checked that first. But we will not be going through my history today. Actually, I checked my history because I actually already recorded this lounge, and then found out I recorded it wrong, and because it was just showing the this thing, window, and wasn't showing my face, which is obviously essential in any lounges from now on because um I am obviously the only reason you're here, at least to see my attractive face and shoulders, and maybe a little bit of my upper arms. But that's why you're all here. And we're also going to be going over secondary. We're going to be going over the news of the week, the very, very well, not just the week, probably like the past like 3 months because I haven't uploaded one of these since probably October like 15th or something. Today is December 19th. And we're going to be going over, first off, vaccine news. Oak Park starts distributing COVID vaccine. Then we're going to go over to the hybrid plans. And then we're going to get into the juicy stuff. Guys, just so you guys know, just so you guys are all aware, I have ad personalization turned off. So that ad was, and any other ads you guys see, that was not because of my search history or whatever. But the Wednesday Journal really needs to adjust its advertising format. Okay, either way, let's get into the news after that quick distraction. All right, Oak Park starts distributing COVID-19 vaccines. Local hospitals get first doses by our favorite reporter over here at the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan, Stacey Sheridan. Close second, maybe Dan Haley, maybe Michael Romaine, though we do have no Michael Romaine stories this month or this podcast, um, which is interesting. All right, the Village of Oak Park Public Health Department got over 600 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine December 17th in its initial allotment, according to a Village news release. Healthcare workers and those working in healthcare settings are at risk of exposure and the ones who will first get vaccinated per state and federal recommendations. As such, Oak Park's doses were distributed to Rush Oak Park Hospital and West Suburban Medical Center. Depending on supply levels, hospital distributions will continue over the next several weeks. Really hope this is going to work out. Okay. As such, Oak Park's doses of vaccinations for all hospital healthcare workers, Oak Park's paramedics, and residents at long-term care facilities are anticipated to take several weeks. The news release reads, CVS and Walgreens drugstores are coordinating long-term care facility vaccinations under a national program expected to start later this month. The Village of Oak Park will have more information in January regarding when the general public might expect to get vaccinated. Interim Public Health Director Joseph J.T. Terry urges residents to continue practicing social distancing, wearing masks, and washing hands with frequency. I wonder how long they're going to keep encouraging that, because let's say 20% of people just refuse to get the vaccine outright, and we're still in June and we still only have like 80% of the people getting vaccinated, but there's no real COVID cases going up. Do we still have to wear the mask or no? Um, to be honest, with the amount of they say that these vaccines are supposed to be 90% effective, which is very abnormal. With that, you really only need maybe 40% of people to get it, assuming that the other underlying immunity things that started earlier in the pandemic continue throughout. Around like 20% of people already have a natural immunity just because like common cold sort of builds up a small immunity to coronavirus. And then there's other people that have already gotten it, obviously, and we don't know how long that lasts. I believe there was one case in Singapore where a guy got it twice, but one case is not really something you want to make large scale conclusions on. And then there were some other ones in Hong Kong. But that's all the ones I've heard about. Next story. This is the one that's kind of important, given that I am supposed to cover news around OPRF. Hybrid plans emerge for second semester. I was planning on doing a lounge where I just go through that like 140-page document where they have all the planning stuff. But honestly, that plan never ended up being the one that was approved in the end. They made some minor adjustments. And plus, I do not want to do 140 pages of reading on stuff that I will find out as soon as I get into the building. Okay, this is by Jackson Hassler over at Trapeze, the school newspaper at OPRF. Jackson Hassler is a wonderful dude, wonderful reporter. It has now been nearly 9 months since OPRF first began online learning, but it seems there may be an end in sight. OPRF's Board of Education approved a hybrid plan for the second semester on December 3rd. Under the plan, students will start the second semester continuing online learning. The earliest date that students who opt in to hybrid learning may start receiving in-person instruction is January 19th. In all likelihood, we are not going to be going back January 19th. But cross your fingers. Safety protocols will be in effect, including capacity limits, air filtration, cleaning, and app symptom screening. That's basically where I think it'll probably be through Skyward. You go into Skyward and you say, "Have you been around anyone with COVID in the last 14 days?" And they'll be like, "No." Have you been at have you had a fever in the past 48 hours? No. Do you have coughs, chills, seizures, death, whatever other side effects there are for COVID? And then you'll say no, and then they'll be like, "All right, you're all good." And then they'll do the temperature check, where they get the little like gun thing, and then they point it at your forehead, and you like put your hair up. If you have hair that goes down, I luckily don't, but I do it anyway out of habit. And then they do the thingy. They press like a button, and then it'll be like, "Brr," and then it'll tell you whether you have a fever or not. I have never gotten a fever on one of those test things, so I would like to congratulate myself at finally passing. It's gotta be the first time I've passed test consecutively every time it's ever been taken. All right. Safety protocol, blah, 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 face coverings and distancing between people. I assume yeah, you're going to be wearing face coverings the entire time. It might get kind of annoying. I think we go until what's the schedule like? Okay, so it ends at like 12:35, and that so you'll be wearing a mask from 8 to 12:35. I don't think they're having lunch there, but they might. I think most people they just go home after 12:35. They might be serving lunch to like certain kids that get their lunch from the school, but for most kids, I think you'll be out of there at 12:25. And then for the kids that do eat lunch at the school, they'll probably be allowed to obviously take their masks off to eat. Though even then, if you got like ketchup or something, like try and shove it through the mask because you never know. You'll give off like ketchup aromas. All right. Some students are struggling with online learning, which is one of the reasons the administration is working to switch to a hybrid format for the second semester. Yeah, 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 that's pretty apparent. There are some of our students who are doing extremely well. Yeah, I think that they're doing well grade-wise, but the reason for that is because they're cheating. And I hope Dr. Pruitt Adams is well aware of that. I know some kids who are opting out of the hybrid learning for the simple fact that they can't cheat if they're in the building, and they don't want their grades to suffer as a result of that. So that may be the reason they're doing extremely well. Then there are some students who are struggling and who need that in-person instruction and the additional support from their teachers. Sophomore Isabella Nash. I'm pretty certain Isabella Nash is not a sophomore. I think this is someone that was in my like freshman English class in my driver's ed class last year. As one student who plans on opting in for in-person learning second semester. Nash has said that remote learning has not been going great. Uh, it's an understatement in terms of, well, maybe it's not an understatement. All right. She has had trouble asking teachers for help and with assignments being marked missing when already turned in. Um, happened in my German class. Turned in as well. It's not marked missing, but Um, Nash has also had issues with not. That was probably very confusing. Nash has also had issues with not being able to see friends, which has affected her emotional well-being. Not alone there. I'm someone who thrives. Well, I'm someone who thrives on being close to people, and when my mental health personally starts to get bad, I like to fall back onto some friends. Nash said, "I can't do that stuck at home." On the other hand, senior Chase Thompson, who, in all likelihood, Chase Thompson, this is it. This is it for Chase Thompson, given that he's a senior. See ya in college, Chase Thompson. Your high school career is finished. Has concerns about students returning to school. If they have people go back, I don't think that they can sustain social distancing practices very well. Well, if it's at 25% capacity, I think it could. And that's I don't know if it's 25% capacity overall or of the people that opt in because it's four groups. So there's O, P, R, and F group. I think that's probably a relevant factor. So you're going to be divided into O, P, R, and F groups, and those groups will go twice every 8 days. So if you're in the O group, you go on Friday on a B day, and then you go the next time you go is oh my lord, that's brutal. Oh wait, no, you go 2 days here, 2 days. Okay, so it's 2 days in a row every 8 days. That is very very bad. So I don't know if it's 25% capacity of the people that opt in or the overall people because I believe it's like 60% of people opted in. And so is it 25% of that or 25% overall? In which case you could probably split it up into two groups and not really be pushing it too much, or three groups. Even that would be better than the current setup. 2 days every 2 days every 6 days is a lot better than 2 days every 8 days, especially if your classroom sizes are like two people. Um, when asked about whether COVID-19 safety or other aspects of When asked about whether COVID-19 safety or other aspects of student well-being, such as social interaction or hands-on learning, were more important to consider, Thompson said, "I would argue that COVID would be more important because it can kill you." That is true, Thompson. You know what else can kill you? Coconuts falling out of a tree in Florida, which actually I think kills like 211 people a year. Someone fact check me on that. Um, and I believe the number of healthy people, as the last time I checked, which was like a couple months ago, number of healthy people under 18 who died from coronavirus was under 40 at the time. I'd imagine it's probably around like 50 now. So yeah, you're four times as many people die every year from coconuts falling out of trees than number of children killed all year from health children without like autoimmune diseases. The number of children killed from COVID all of this year. So yeah, he's got a point there, but it's a very very bad point because I would be more than willing to go outside in Florida. Well, there are other factors that may influence that judgment. I'd be more than likely to go outside in Florida, even if I had to bear the risk of coconuts falling on my head and killing me. I don't know if there's coconuts in Florida. I'll have to check my tree geography. I wonder if there's like a doctorate for that. I'm a tree geographist, um, geologist. No, that's rocks. Geographist. Okay. Math teacher Shyla Hardin shares similar concerns to Thompson. You have to follow the safety protocols. Whatever we do as we move into hybrid, the safety protocols are paramount for the safety of our students and staff. Hardin also understands that the hybrid learning will be much different than the normal in-person, in-school instruction. Going back next semester wouldn't be the same as what we left, Hardin said. Even though hybrid may not be ideal, Hardin understands the benefits of the plan. I don't want to minimize that there's benefits for some people in just being in the room, perhaps, Hardin said. The school is using a company called CCS Technology to help with scheduling. According to Christopher Thyme, OPRF's Executive Director of Educational Technology, I wonder if I speak too fast on these lounges because I just want to get through the article so fast. Um, we're at record pace. Are we? No. This is the second article. All right. Last time I recorded this lounge and I had to redo it because I had only um, gotten the article part instead of my face in the background. By the way, someone like email me the lounge with Luke Gilfillan at gmail.com. Better background images. I literally looked up like lounge and this was one of the things that came up. I don't think it's particularly suitable because I'm like where a bar stool should be, and then there's a pool table over there, and above the pool table is the thing. I feel like if we could get like a lounge, but maybe there's like a TV in the background. See this TV? Oh wait, no, you don't see that TV. Okay, see the TV. See the TV up here. Um, maybe we could get like a big like TV. That's where I could put like the articles, or my face. Alternatively, if you want my face on the TV, we could have like a big vote on that. And then it's got to have like a loungy feel. I feel like this sort of has a loungy feel, but not exactly what I imagine in my mind when I think of a lounge. I like the hardwood floor. I like the brownish, or I think that's brown. Maybe it's like dark red, or I don't know, the stuff you would find in the mesa biomes in Minecraft. That color. Um, yeah, I like that color. But okay, back to the article. Focus your attention up there. All right. CCS technology, and I don't know what CCS technology has to do with any of this. CCS technology was instrumental in the success of regional districts in grouping their students by applying advanced algorithms to the student schedules and aligning that to classroom activities capacities. I don't know where I got activities. Well, I do know activities times that. So if anyone knows what I just read meant, please comment that in the description because I have no idea what that meant, and I'm just going to pretend I never read it. All right, here's a cool graph, and this is the important stuff. These are the guidelines, these are the thresholds. They're very, very low, in my humble opinion. Actually, it's not very humble at all. I take great pride in every opinion that I cite. It's basically gospel at this point. Um, Stage three, hybrid. So this is the one which we want to look at. So in order to be in hybrid mode, we need to have under 140 cases per 100,000 people in Cook County, and under 100 cases per 100,000 people in River Forest and Oak Park. The weekly positivity rate needs to be 5% or less for Cook County, and the combined Oak Park and River Forest positivity rate needs to be 6% or less. So, positivity rate, I believe, is where out of the number of people that get tested, the numerator is the number of people that test positive, and the denominator is the overall number of people that get tested. And I think that's the positivity rate. But I might be wrong there. I am not the guy that's doing like the testing where they shove the thing up the nose. Um, Total employees and student cases in the school. This is a big one. This is the big one. Okay, they want six or fewer cases in the school for total employee and student. That is a benchmark we are never going to hit until there's a vaccine. I think, because even in like even in like the fall sports, you had like one case for about every sports team at OPRF, and it might have been like a family member that had it, but you had one person that had to go into isolation or one group that had to go into isolation during the whole fall period. And assuming that there was like 120 people that were in fall sports and three of them had COVID at some point, it's going to be a very hard number to hit given that we have like 3,600 and obviously some of those people are not opted in. Um, so if I think that six metric is going to be very, very easy to hit. And that's really unfortunate because really what they should do is if someone gets COVID in your classroom, isolate for 2 weeks, come back. That should be it. It doesn't matter what happens in a classroom across the building because it's still sort of isolated in some sense. And it is our hope that we can get back in, but the metrics will determine that. Dr. Pruitt Adams said. Well, metrics were decided arbitrarily. Like why six cases? One at 10, one at 30. I feel like six cases is something that most high schools that with like 1,000 students would use, except we have 3,600, so maybe the metric should be like 20 or more. Um, it is our hope that we can get back in, but the metrics will determine that. Is going to take everyone wearing their mask, washing their hands, and practicing social distancing on a regular basis. And right now, that is not happening. Um, I think it is pretty much happening. Everyone I've seen has done at least all three of these things at some point in almost all points. So I don't understand where the desire to blame the reckless populace for not allowing these metrics to be hit. Really, it's random. You wouldn't blame someone for getting the flu, like, oh, you're like licking tabletops. That's what you must be doing to get the flu. It's random, pretty much. There are certain behaviors you can do to minimize the risk, but the risk is there. I don't think by wearing actually there was like a Dutch study on this. Wearing a mask actually isn't really there to protect you unless it's an N95 mask, in which case you're not going to breathe in any particles that do that. But really, how it gets spread is people might cough, it gets on your hand, and then you touch your mouth, and then that gets you sick. That's really what's happening. But if you're wearing like a cloth mask, it's not really doing anything to decrease your personal risk of getting it. It's really there to decrease the risk of other people around you of getting it. There was a bunch of studies on they had like 1,000 people wear a mask, and then they reported how much, and then they had 1,000 people not wear a mask in their day-to-day stuff, and then they looked at the differences in how likely you were to get COVID. I could pull up the study if you want, but I'm not going to actually. So no matter what you want, I'm not going to pull up the study. You just look up like it was Dutch, or no, it was a Danish study. So really, what it serves to do is to prevent the particles from getting farther away than it prevents. It makes it so less particles get out when you like cough or sneeze or whatever. Makes it so less particles get out because it gets trapped in the mask, and then it makes it go less distance. So that's the real point of that, at least from what I've read. This story is being updated, and we will continue to publish as we receive more information about the hybrid learning model OPRF will employ. If you have any questions you would like the Trapeze to inquire about hybrid learning, please email our editor-in-chief, Libby Eager, at Libby. All right, now to the juicy story. So there was a big controversy earlier this month. Let's see. Working. Whoa. Okay, I like pointing at things. Um, how we talk to each other is important. Oh, I should probably give the context to this story because this story doesn't really give much context in it. So basically, earlier this month, it was like October, or no, it was not earlier this month. It was back in October or November, or November 30th, I think. Um, Someone commented on a Facebook post from the Wednesday Journal about whether Trustee Dan Moroney was going to be running for re-election. And basically, this person must have not liked Dan Moroney for some reason because she suggested, like in the comments of this Facebook page, that Dan Moroney was like a white supremacist or something. She said like, "This guy, by the way, is a white supremacist." In the comments, and then the comment got taken down by the Wednesday Journal. And then in response, one of the school board members on the OPRF school board wrote a letter to the editor in the Wednesday Journal, which is basically where people write like an opinion piece to the Wednesday Journal, and they publish it sometimes. And basically, the controversy around that was this Matt Barron guy who was like, he must have been friends with Dan Haley, or not Dan Haley, Dan Moroney, um, because he was like, oh, this these type of comments have no place, and it was very bad, and he was right to say that. And then there was a controversy around like this one sentence that Matt Barron wrote. All right, this is by Dan Haley in the Wednesday Journal. Possibly our second favorite reporter over here at the Lens Lounge, Luke Gilfillan, but we haven't decided on that. Maybe it'll be Jackson Hassler or like Alex Goldstein or something. Alex Goldstein has a good article in the winter sports for this month that you should check out, but we don't typically cover sports here in the Lounge of Luke Gilfillan. Maybe we should start covering sports. Comment if you want us to start covering sports at OPRF. How we talk to each other is important, and how we talk to each other pretty much determines if we listen. That's a good opener. This has all been on display in Oak Park over the past Thanksgiving week on social media, in the pages of the Journal, and on our comment board at oakpark.com. I've got a role in this which I want to acknowledge and a point of view that I want to share and leave open for response. It started with a news article, pretty run-of-the-mill, who is running for re-election and who is not, that I asked our Village Hall reporter Stacey Sheridan to report out. Mayor Nan Abu Taleb had not yet announced if he was running for a third term, and in our article he still did not announce. Trustee Dan Moroney was the last of the current trustees whose term ends in April not to declare. In our article, he said his decision was overdue and would come soon. No big news, the sort of story that moves things along a little bit. The story was first posted online and on Facebook, and last Wednesday made our print edition. It was on our Facebook page where a local news person posted a comment calling Moroney a white supremacist. That was about the gist of the comment. Not much context, no case made to prove the point. The commenter was a local Muslim woman, and this fact comes up later. So pay attention to that or don't, whatever. It's up to you. You're watching The Lounge. The Lounge is a experience up for interpretation. Don't let me define the Lounge experience for you. The comment was called to my attention by Matt Barron, an OPRF school board member and someone I've known for a long time, either in an email or a text. I was busy doing other things, and it took me several hours to really take a look. At that point, I asked a colleague to take the comment down. Completely my decision. By the way, I interviewed Matt Barron for one of my articles for Trapeze this month. Go check it out. Uh, It was on the graduated income tax, which it was a very hard story to do, but I prevailed. Wow, that was so self-aggrandizing. We take comments down. Not, is that the right word? Aggrandizing. I spelled it wrong. Don't judge. Increase in power or so enhance the reputation of someone beyond what is justified by the facts. I would beg to differ with Google's definition of what I just said of myself. I think it is well defined in the facts that I definitely deserve that praise for writing the article. Um, Barron then sent the journal a letter to the editor, which ran in print last week. The letter should not have run for the same reason the comment, in my opinion, needed to come down. There was wording in the letter related to see something, say something, duffel bags being left in public spaces. That was code for terrorism. It should have jumped out as inappropriate. It didn't. That is on us. We need to do better. So basically, Matt Barron wrote an article about how bad it was that this person had just called Dan Moroney a white supremacist without any reason nor evidence for it. And then in the article, he said, like, oh, if you see a comment like this, say something. So, like, don't let this type of, like, inflammatory language continue without speaking up about it. And a lot of people took an issue with that because the woman is a Muslim woman, which I doubt that Matt Barron even knew. Um, and the specific language is like the same is code for like terrorism. So there you go. That was the big controversy. Since all this began, Dan Moroney has announced that he is running for village president. Sheridan reported that story online Saturday afternoon. Um, in case anyone cares about the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan endorsements, the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan is endorsing Dan Moroney. Though honestly, I don't even know if Dan Moroney would want my endorsement. I just think he's like I don't really know him. I don't care too much for him, but he seems like the lesser of a thousand evils. Um, Not evil. I wouldn't characterize it as evil. But whatever. It sent me back to our archives from a year ago when Dan Moroney was in the news, locally and well beyond, for appearing on a right-wing local talk radio show. I'd followed a controversy at the board table when trustee Susan Buchanan was making an ardent point, and in that moment fully lost her temper and said several things she rightly later regretted about her board colleagues. We made that was a huge controversy. It was like a national news story. So we made a video on that. It actually got a lot of views. I think I don't know enough views to flatter my vanity. Um, Moroney went on Dan Proft's talk show and made a okay. So apparently this guy's named Dan Proft, and made things a lot worse. He rightly got lacerated on social media and citizen comments at the next board meeting and by me in this column. I don't know what he did. I feel like that would be relevant. I feel like that would be relevant if you suggested this. I guess his big crime was going on a right wing local talk radio show. Um, okay. Looking for cover, Moroney said that he and Buchanan had sat down privately to discuss what had transpired and recognizing what unites us rather than what divides us. Now there is the ultimate political statement. And here was my response in that 14-month-old column. It's been 14 months since that happened, Jesus. Sure, there is a lot that unites us. The path forward, those, and focus. It can't be 14 months ago. I swear that happened in like February. It was like cold outside, and that happened in February. It was not 14 months ago. He is lying. It was probably like 10 months ago. It was not that long ago. What a liar. I'm not accusing Dan Haley of being a liar, by the way. But maybe I am. Sure, there was a lot that unites us. The path forward, though, is in focusing on productive ways and what divides us. Because what divides us is foundational and needs to be sincerely and imperfectly sorted out. It is about racism. It is about sexism. It is about systems of oppression. It is about an inability or unwillingness to listen. It is about control. It is always about control. I feel like it's that's like something that like, I was watching The Godfather recently, which is that movie about the Italians, the Italian like mob, and then they say stuff like that. I feel like that's a line that would be in there. It is always about control. My point a year ago was that I kind of find it funny that the line "it is always about control" is being uh, thrown out in reference to a village government controversy. We have a lot of those in Oak Park. Like most people probably couldn't even name like a single trustee if they have a board of trustees in their village or their mayor. They probably couldn't name them. However, we have a lot of controversies, so you're bound to run up into those names at some point. My point a year ago is that talking about race and equity, if you're doing it right, is painful, hard, and can easily go awry. So choose words carefully, be articulate, go deeper. These are not things social media does well. Instead, in my view, it makes real, necessary conversation harder. As Oak Park begins a campaign for village president, equity has to be top of the mind. As I've said 10 times, this village government has failed on equity. And debating Dan Moroney's pretty much right out in the open views on race and governance is entirely fair and necessary. So all that said, I was surprised to reread that column to find this line. Dan Proft is a right-wing conspiracy hack. He hosts a low-rated Chicago talk radio show that speaks mainly to white supremacy. So I think that kind of contradicts Dan Haley's point in this article, so I guess that might be why he found it surprising. He says, I think that is accurate. Oh, okay. I guess it doesn't contradict it. I did not personally call Proft a white supremacist. It was in the context of a 600-word column. So he says he did not personally call Proft a white supremacist. He merely said that Proft is a white supremacist. So nice standard there, Dan Haley. I have no idea who Dan Proft is, for the record. A lot of Dans, actually. Dan Haley, Dan Proft, Dan Moroney. So that's this article is a story of the Dans and one Matt and one Buchanan. And one Susan, actually. I know white supremacy is real. It permeates our institution and it permeates us as individual white people. But to me, it feels unproductive just to hurl the term white supremacist as someone as a pejorative label. I think that's right, or it could be another blind spot in a lifetime of blind spots that I'm working on. Some of you, I'm sure, will have opinions. That is all for this episode of The Lounge with Luke Gilfillan. That is all I have to say. If you want to be interviewed for The Lounge with Luke Gilfillan, I probably should be reaching out to people to interview, but I don't feel like doing that. So just email thelunchwithlukeGilfillan@gmail.com or text me if you have my phone number, being like, yo, Luke, can I be on the podcast? And I'll be like, all right, fine, next Saturday. Um, Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I hope this did not glitch like it did the last time I did this. It's 32 minutes, so from the last time I recorded this, I cut down 25 minutes of this, which I'm sure you are all very, very, very thankful for. Um, Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye. How do they stand these? Enjoy yourselves.